Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So, painting miniatures. You want to get better at it, but you keep hitting a wall. Well, I'm here to help you. 5 things that will help you improve your painting. And yeah, some of them are controversial. Yay! Miniature painting. We all love it. We all do it. A lot of people hate it, but yet still play the games. And I've get asked this a lot. How do you improve your painting? And, you know, there are other channels out there that are way better painters than me and, like, far bigger and do so much more successful stuff on live streaming on Twitch and things like that. And you know what? Everybody has an opinion when it comes to miniature painting. And I figured that the best thing to do is probably do my top 5 things that will probably help you improve your painting. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. So we're going to start off with number 5. The first thing that will help you improve your painting. So number 5. Get decent brushes, like seriously, and on brushes as well. And like brushes is very a subjective thing. So I personally use Rosemary CO Series 33. I have used these brushes for a long time. I like them. They're a really good company. They're affordable and they feel good in my hand. But not everybody will like them. Now, I will give you a bit of a word of warning. Content creators on social media are sponsored and have affiliate links with manufacturers of certain products. So you will often see a YouTuber or a streamer go, "You need these brushes." And they will try to flog you said brushes. Now, those brushes may be good for that painter. They may not necessarily fit what you want and how you paint. So my advice is to find a brush that you enjoy using. Now I can give you a lot of recommendations, like I can recommend Series 33, and yes, I have an affiliate link in the description below, but I'm not trying to sell you these and I'm not pushing you to go and check them out. You can go and check out Artist Opus. Now they are expensive. And I personally don't like them. So I won't really praise them. But you might like those brushes. And they might be affordable to you. So again, you see how this is subjective? So, but the main thing that you need to remember is regardless of what company you get them from, what brand, whatever, that the brush is comfortable to use, as in it's comfortable to hold. Because what you'll find a lot of the times is this little part here, the handle, will come in various different lengths and thicknesses and shapes and sizes. And sometimes they're good to hold, sometimes they're not. So you need, you as the painter, to find a brush that you use and that you like. And as well as like the size and the snap. But the main thing that you need to remember is you need to find a quality Kolinsky sable brush with a decent point, and that's it. Outside of who makes them and whatever, completely down to you. So I'm not going to push which one. I can recommend brushes, but ultimately the decision is on you. But the main thing is you want a brush that's comfortable in your hand, and you want a brush with good Kolinsky sable hair. That is number 5. Number 4, things to help you improve your painting. And this is a good one. You do not need an airbrush and oil paints. You don't. You really do not. You can improve your painting by simply painting. And if you look at the trend right now on YouTube and on like Twitch and stuff, a lot of the painters are airbrushing the shit out of everything and then giving it a gloss varnish, applying the decals, and then slapping some oil paint on there. Now, if you are a new painter and you're still getting into miniature painting, oils and airbrushing is adding an additional set of skills and lessons that need to be learnt. And you're still trying to get your head around layering and blending and shading and edge highlighting. And now you're having to contest with a piece of machinery like an airbrush with its PSIs, its the how thin the paint needs to be, cleaning it, and then you're putting on the top of your oils of your oil washes and which mineral spirit you're going to use, and do you need to gloss it, do you need to matte varnish it, do you need to there's a lot of information around that. So if you are a new miniature painter and you're trying to improve your miniature painting, you don't need to do any of this. You don't need to do any oils or any airbrushing or anything like that. All you need is one of these, some paint, and a little bit of time and practice. So that would be my number 4. I know it's a controversial one, and I know people are not going to like it, but that's the truth. You don't need oil brushes and airbrushing straight away. If you've been painting for a bit and you're wanting to expand your toolkit, then 100% oils and airbrushes can be very useful. But if you're a new miniature painter and you are essentially trying to improve your painting, you don't need them. They're not essential. They are another set of medium and tools to your painting arsenal. So remember that when you're watching these other channels about painting tutorials. Okay, number 3. This is another little bit of a controversial one. And this is more aimed at the new painters as well that are wanting to improve. And that is to stay off social media. Like, stay off social media. And what I mean by that is, don't go into Facebook groups and ask a painting question. The problem with that, and the reason why this isn't going to help you, is you are going to get regurgitated information from somebody who's basically the same as you about a subject matter that they don't really understand, and they're just firing back what they've heard on YouTube and on Twitch and from other painters. And a case in point, and you can try this out yourself, go to any painting group, and I can guarantee you, if you go in and go, how do I layer my paints, you will get comments like, use too thin coats, you've got to use this paint, or you've got to do this, or you've got to do this. You never get an actual explanation of how that technique is done correctly. You just get a regurgitated, buzzworded filled bunch of bleh, and you don't actually get anything back on that. The amount of times that I've sat in painting groups and seen this happen, and it's like, oh my God, like, why? And people then wonder why they're not improving. So the best bit of advice I can give you is watch a lot of YouTube videos, watch a lot of streamers of artists that you enjoy and that you like their style. And the style part is important, because if you aren't a fan of how overly airbrushed miniatures can look, then you're not going to want to paint like that. You might like the guy who's doing it, but you may not necessarily enjoy that type of painting yourself. But you might like the, you know, watching it being done. So find a content creator or an artist that you enjoy and you like the style, and engage with them, to contact them directly. Now, don't badger them, but just ask them a nice, polite question of, hi, I have this problem. I want to learn to do this. How should I do it? Now, the vast majority of them will probably go, here's my Patreon. Here's my YouTube members area. Here's a video I've already done. Now, it's up to you if you want to pay for that. I personally do. I'm a really, really big fan of Inferno Brush, or Dave, who used to be a heavy metal painter. And since joining his Patreon, I have learned so much myself. and it's like colours and techniques and blending and sort of real sort of colour combinations and things that I would never have really thought of myself, but it's like, oh wow, I wouldn't have really guessed that. Because I enjoy the heavy metal style, I would like to learn how to do the heavy metal style better, so I go to a former heavy metal painter to get that information. And that's how I personally have developed my painting. So, you know, that's what you need to do. Now, in most cases, they're going to be pretty open and pretty approachable. Most content creators are pretty nice people anyway. But yeah, don't be alarmed if they point you to their Patreon or their members area, because at the end of the day, a lot of these big guys and ladies, this is what they do for a living. So obviously they want to get paid. But, you know, if you ask them for a polite question or a simple method, in most cases, they're probably going to give you the answer. And then you're able to put it onto it. Although they'll point you to some of their content that you'll be able to watch. So they're bound to have something on their YouTube channel. And that's probably what I would say is a really solid bit of advice. You know, stay away from Facebook, because it's just regurgitated crap from people that don't actually understand what they're saying. And it's, yeah, you'll get one or two people that do, but they'll be drowned out by the rest of the rubbish. So rather than just asking an open room full of people, ask an actual painter and they'll be able to help you. Number 2. So, number 2. Best bit of advice I can give. Well, it's going to be lighting. And again, this is potentially another bit of controversial one, but it's also really important. These things right here are really, really good. Now, you do not need to pay 120 odd pounds for a really expensive LED daylight lamp. You don't need to spend £200, £300, £400 on amazingly expensive lamps. You can go to IKEA and buy a lamp for like 9 to 12 quid and then a decent daylight bulb and throw it in and get 2 of them and get exactly the coverage you need. But the main thing is you need quality light. One, it will help you see the miniature clearly and the colours clearly. And 2, it will protect these things, and that's your eyes. Eye strain is a issue that all miniature painters will face at some point. And a lot of the time we get eye strain is because we're painting in really crappy light and we're focusing on small things and we're putting a lot of strain on our eyes, and they can do stupid things. I remember painting in really bad light before and my eyes spasmed. I remember my vision going all blurry and I could feel my eyes spasming, and it was because I was tired and I was straining my eyes. I proceeded to go out a couple of days later and actually invest in some decent lamps. Now I have a really big lamp here, and I'm not too sure if you're actually going to get to see it. Probably not. No, it's not going to reach the camera. But I have one of those amazing ones from IKEA. It cost me like 12 quid, and I've got a daylight bulb in it. And then I have my really big strip lamp, which is one of these. And I'll turn it on and show you how bright it is. It's pretty bright, and it's really good. But these things are expensive. They're like £120. And, you know, like, I only got that because I was able to save up and invest in it. If you're able to go and buy yourself one straight away, then go for it. I paint a lot, so I made sure that I got some decent quality light. Also as well, if you are painting and having difficulty looking at it, get a pair of these. Some magnifying glasses. They'll also help as well when it comes. I know it's not necessarily light related, but you know, I can charge these up and actually turn the little light on at the front to give myself a little bit extra if I really needed to. I very rarely do, I do need to charge them, but They're really good. You get them from Amazon. They're about 9-10 quid. Really, really handy to use. But you've got to look after your eyes when it comes to miniature painting, and light, and actually having proper light is definitely the top of the list. So that is it. Number 2, quality light. And finally, number 1. So number 1, the number 1 way tip that I can help improve your painting, and that's patience and repetitions. So painting is, you get other, and I did watch another channel where they turn around and say practice doesn't help, and it's like, what? Like, yes, it does. If you do something enough, you'll get better at it. And I personally, from my personal experience, from putting in the hours and the reps when it comes to painting, has definitely helped me improve. So to turn around and say that you don't need to improve, it really does help you improve. So practice, practice, practice. Now, meaningful practice is what you should be doing. So there's painting, and then there's painting with intention. So just painting for the lols is just, you get your miniature and you're just like, yeah, whatever. And you're not really paying much of attention to what you're doing. But if you're trying to improve, then you're going to make sure that your brush control is right, your hand-eye coordination is what's going to improve over time as you slowly edge highlight. Getting your hand and sort of like how to brace yourself and sort of practice that is also a really good way of practicing. And the more you do this, and the more you do something like edge highlighting and glazing and wet into wet blending, the more and more you do it, naturally the better you'll get over time. Now, there is a saying, practice makes perfect. I don't think that's necessarily true for miniature painting, because I don't think we can ever be perfect. I think even Golden Demon winners and Slayer Sword winners will probably look at their entries and go, there's definitely room for improvement there. And I think as artists, we are our own worst critics. So, you know, bear that in mind as well. But the biggest piece of advice I can give, and to help you improve, is 1, don't be afraid of trying something new. Don't be off-put when you look at things like non-metallic metals and things like that, and you're like, oh my god, I can't do that. I can't just get, like, break it down into things to learn. So you want to learn non-metallics. Okay, so first you're going to need to look at how to do color transitions, learning your blending, your feathering. Now, not all non-metallics needs to be a smooth transition, but you're also going to need to look at your volumetric highlights, how to highlight a shape. You want to look at how you do your light placement, and color theory can also come into it. So there's a lot of things to sort of look and learn, but once you start going into these parts and bringing it all together, you'll have the understanding and the tools needed to essentially move to that next layer and that next stage. And it does work, you know, looking at it from an art perspective rather than like, I'm painting miniatures, this is my hobby. You are painting, and you are doing nothing no different from what landscape oil painters do or watercolorists do. You're essentially playing on a 3D canvas rather than a 2D canvas, but the principles of what you're doing still apply. So, you know, highlighting, shading, perspective, your volumes, all of this is important. So when you're wanting to improve, try to take your time and take that into account. So when you're putting your highlights in and you're looking at it, look at the model and go, well, where do I put the highlight? Do I put that highlight here? Well, if the light was coming down here, then this part here would be brighter than this side here. And sort of look at it. Look at real world examples. If you want to learn how to do weathering correctly and do something, don't just watch a YouTube video where the guy literally just airbrushes some color, gloss varnishes it, and then gets a sponge going. Yeah, let's put some chipping on there, and then like slap some streaky effect from AK, like either go and watch somebody who actually does it correctly, like Night Shift, or go outside and take some photos of some rusty metallic surfaces, and then have references on in your phone in front of you where you're able to go, all right, that's how that looks. Okay, so these colours could be, this base colour for this rust could be Doomable Brown, and then some Scrag Brown over the top. And it's got a little bit of orange in there, so maybe a little bit of Troll Slayer orange for the brighter highlights of the rust. But there's a little bit of verdigris, and there's a little bit of staining and oil staining. I could use this paint to streak it down. There's a lot of cool ways of doing it. Speaking of that, I will be having some weathering videos coming very soon. Nice plug there. But yeah, you've got to sort of look at it and sort of look at how you're able to achieve those things realistically, if that's what you're trying to do. Yes, if it's just for tabletop and you want to slap it on, this video probably didn't apply to you at all, because you're not really trying to improve, you're just wanting your miniatures painted. So there's a video for you called Slap Chop. Also, Slap Chop will not help you improve. In fact, it'll hinder your painting, because you're not really painting, you're kind of just colouring the model in with some washes. I know it's controversial, but I don't care. Yeah, so Slap Chop, this channel is about improving your painting. So yes, you can learn and improve just by simply learning the techniques and practicing them. And practice will eventually get the repetitions, create up the muscle memory, and it will become faster and second nature, and therefore it will become easier and will get better at it. And so yeah, that's it. So that was my top 5 things to help you improve. Yeah, there's some controversial things in there. I'm pretty sure somebody's got upset by me saying about airbrushing and oil washes. I don't care, it's my opinion. Something I don't use, and therefore there's a reason for that. But yeah, I think when it comes to painting, be an open mind. Open your mind. Absorb it. Be a sponge and absorb the information. Process it and apply it where it is needed for you. Too many painting channels preach at their audience and say, this is how you have to do this. That's not necessarily true or correct. Art and miniature painting, because it is a form of art, is about expressing yourself through your art. So remember when you're doing it. So if you want to paint your Space Marines bright pink because you like that color, do it. If you want to have some really weird color transitions, and do it. If you can have fun while doing it, that's the main thing. But if you want to improve as a painter, then you need to remember to take your time, be patient, and absorb all that information around you, and then apply what is necessarily for you and to achieve your ultimate goal. And I think I'm just going to end it on one final bit of advice. Don't throw old miniatures away. Don't reprime them and anything like that. Keep them to one side and look back at them. And over time, you'll see how your painting has grown. And you'll be able to look at what you're doing now and what you did then and hold them side by side and go, wow, I have improved. And it's an amazing feeling as a miniature painter when you can do that. So try to sort of progress. And if you're feeling burnt out or like just like hitting a wall, put the miniature down, take a step back, go and do something else, read a book, play a computer game, watch TV, and allow your brain to sort of just rinse it all out, and then give it a couple of days, and then come back to the miniature and look at it in a fresh pair of eyes. And you'll find that a lot of times will get rid of that sort of mental block. But the biggest thing is just to have fun. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. It's all supposed to be about fun. And improving your painting can be a fun thing to do. It's just all about what's going up in here and having that positive mental mindset when you come to do it. and hopefully this video has helped. So if you do like my content, please subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment, like this video, and ring that bell, and check out my members area, and you too could get your name up on the channel like these amazing people. Catch you in the next one. Goodbye.